Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. This is episode 6. I'm recording today on Thursday, December 31st, and it's New Year's Eve. So how exciting is that? Actually, I'll confess, I really can't stand New Year's. I always find it so manufactured, and everybody's in such a tizzy about, oh, what did I do this year? What did I not do this year? I always felt it was just kind of stupid, but it is what it is. There's a lot of pressure, oh, celebrate. Well, you can see I'm ready to celebrate, but I've had a bit of a stomach bug the last couple of days since I was in Chicago. So maybe a small glass of champagne at midnight is probably going to be it. Sebastian's working today until a little bit later this afternoon, so we're going to have dinner, and then I got tickets. We're going to go see The Force Awakens. He has not had a chance to see it yet. I've seen it already, and I loved it. So we're going to go back and see it again, and I couldn't be happier. I've been waiting for an opportunity between his work schedule and my travel schedule. I'll talk a little bit about my trip to Chicago as well. So we've had a little bit of a challenge trying to find a time for both of us to go. So today was sort of seems like the right day to do that. So why don't we just talk about stuff that happened? So for people, again, who are new to the podcast, welcome. My name is Eric. I film here in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. And if you've never tuned in before, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for spending some time with me. If you've tuned in before, thank you so much for coming back. And for all the new subscribers, holy moly, so many new subscribers. I'm thrilled to have you here. So thank you very much for joining. This is only episode 6, and I'm amazed at how much support and feedback and great comments people have had. So it makes it kind of, I started out just doing this for me, really, but just so much amazingness has come from it. So thank you so much. I can be found on Ravelry as EPLUTZ, or Z for American friends. And I can be found on Instagram at e.p.lutz, or Z for Canadian friends. Feel free to add me, follow along. We've also got a group, the Sticks Plus Twine podcast group in Ravelry. You'll see there's a couple of give-alongs. There's a swap that's happening, and I'll talk a little bit about those as we go through. So, I also wanted to say thanks so much to Josh from Sort of a Knitter podcast, also the designer behind Geonitrix Designs, for such an amazing shout out on his return to podcasting this week. Really appreciate it. I know it's been a while. Excuse me. I'm actually, sorry, I'm going to just interrupt for a second. I'm having coffee today. I don't know why, but I just felt like, I didn't want tea for some reason. I just wanted coffee. So this is just Nespresso. It's the orange one. I don't remember what it's called. Linizio or something, I think. But, Splenda and a little bit of milk. So anyway, thanks again to Josh for such a wonderful shout out. I had some people who's kind of said, oh, he thought you were kind of boring. No, that's actually not what he said. What he said was, if you tune in for 3 seconds, you might not get the full gist of what I do and how I do it. So I actually think he did an amazing job, and just so grateful to see him back on the scene. And I hope all works out for you. I hope everything keeps going well. And yay, more Sort of a Knitter. So that's great. Okay, let's talk finished objects. I haven't gotten any this week. I thought I might have finished my Christmas socks from the Wool Gathering podcast, but I haven't, because I cast on too many other things. So, no finished objects this week. Next week, maybe. So, that was easy. I'm going to talk about some works in progress, but I have to talk about acquisitions kind of as part of that, because one of my acquisitions, ta-da, is the Fringe Association Field Bag. Sorry, Fringe Supply Company. Why do I call it Fringe Association? I don't know why. That my parents got me for Christmas. And I got the gray one. And I have to admit, it's the best thing ever. I mean, I love all the other project bags that I've ever had, but there's something about this one that's just so... It's kind of different. It's masculine, but it's accessible to everybody. I love this vegetable tanned leather. For people that know Vuitton, this is the same kind of leather that ages so beautifully on Vuitton vintage handbags. So I'm expecting this to go to like this gorgeous, deep sort of, brown doesn't even go far enough to really say how deep I'm expecting this to go. Anyway, we were talking about works in progress. So, inside here, this little balled up piece, is the Gillis scarf from Stephen West, and I'm right in the middle of a row. How did that happen? Oh, I know why, because we were landing from my flight. I knit on this when I was away in Chicago. I'll put a picture in over here so you can see a little bit better what it looks like, but I'm not that far in. I think the pattern's really well written. I'm stuck here. There we go. The pattern's, I think, really well written. There's a few things that I wish were a little bit better laid out in terms of when to start a new repeat of the lace work in between the stitch marked components. But I mean, it's easy enough to figure out once you kind of go and do the math. But it works. This is going to block out really nicely once it finally does, because it'll all open up. But this color is turning out so much better than I even expected. It's kind of a cross between a Dijon and a chartreuse, I guess. But it's a beautiful knit. And this is in Cascade 220 Heathers in the birch colorway. You can see it's already used up quite a bit of this ball. This is, if you remember from last week, and if you haven't watched it, you can go back and watch it again, but this is the ball that took forever to wind by hand because the hank was all messed up. But it's working out just fine, and it's knitting up really well. This is on my Knit Picks circulars, interchangeables, size US 8s, US, I want to say 5 millimeters, 5.5 millimeters, that's what it says. The nice thing about these is that it's laser etched on the needle itself, so you can actually see and they won't wear off. It needs a lot of stitch markers. I lost one along the way in flight yesterday. Oh well, I'll just put another one on. But that's one of my works in progress, which I'm actually really enjoying that. I can kind of see why people love Stephen West's work, because it just works out really nicely. So that's a good question, actually. A lot of people I know were doing the Doodler mystery knit along from Stephen West, and I know some people just frogged it and said it can't be bothered. But now that I've seen the finished, I actually think it's really interesting. I don't think it would be right for me, but I could see knitting that for somebody else. But if you tried it, did you like it? If you tried it and frogged it, do you regret having done that and not having stuck with it now? I'm just curious. Because I don't know that I'll make it, but I'd love to hear some feedback from people who have. So if you do have it done, let me know. What else do I have? Also, I couldn't just take one project, I had to take two. That's my finished sock that I already showed you guys last week. This is the Christmas sock out of Madeline Tosh sock in the Moorland colorway. But I am down to the heel flap. So I've got to get working on that. But I didn't want to start on that when I was on the plane and was like, oh, I don't want to lose track and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'll just finish there. That's why I took another project with me, because I figured that would be better, but maybe I was wrong. Anyway, I've only got that much left, so I know that that's enough to finish a sock. That's not a problem. So this kind of leads me to a quandary, because I'm going to have enough left, I'm hoping, to do, so there will be a mini skein left out of this. And as much as I never really appreciated the cozy memory blanket for myself, I could see wanting to make one now, because I just don't like to waste things. So I'm kind of like, oh, everybody's making one, maybe I should do one too, I don't know. And it seems like it's a really easy knit too. Like each little square is not that difficult to do. It's pretty quick. You can sort of pop a couple of these things off, when you're, waiting for your tea kettle to boil or something like that. So what do you think? Should I start one? Because if I do, I'm thinking that I might try and snag one of Molly's from Homespun House. I know she was planning on putting together a gift bag, a project bag kit, starting kit. And Natasha, I know I'm going to be fighting you for one of those on there from Wool Gathering Collective. So we'll see. Maybe I will. What do you think? Okay. The other thing I was going to mention, I'm going to put pictures of this in because it'll be better. Or you can just go and take a look at their website. They've got a great Instagram feed as well. What I love is it's got a pocket that I can put in a needle gauge. I've got a pen. I've got one of those great highlighters that I was talking about from Muji, and what I love about this is it's got a sharp side, so I can check off rows that I've done, and it's got a highlighter side, so anything that's a constant repeat, I highlight, so I know what I can find it if I need to. And then on the other side of the bag, it's got a really nice wide pocket that you can put patterns in, which is kind of great. I also store in here, and this is something I was going to show you guys last week, but I forgot to pick it up in time. This is a cool pattern that I found online, and I'll put the link in the show notes. It's actually an earbud holder with a zipper. This was the very first zipper that I put in, but I didn't really count it as a first zipper because it was really easy. So I store my earbuds inside that. But I was thinking, wouldn't this be awesome for stitch markers? If you put them in, it's actually pilted. Wow, slow down, Eric, right? It's actually quilted a little bit. It's got a little bit of padding in between, and I did not use any interfacing on this because I wanted it to just be soft. But that could be really cool. If you wanted to, you could even put a little D-ring on that when you're sewing it in, and then you could just attach it to things. But I just thought this was really cool. I had some fabric that I thought was really neat with these birds that I ordered from Fabric Spark. But I thought, wow, that would really be neat for stitch markers. So I think I'm going to make another one, and I'll keep that in my project bag. But it's also got 3 grommets on the inside pocket. Like I said, I'll take pictures, or you can take a look at their site. Their pictures are way better than mine will be. So if you're using multiple colors, or if you're like doing any ferrule work or something like that, you can strand them through there, so it'll keep them from getting tangled in your bag. So that's amazing. I know they were out of stock for quite a while in a couple of colors, and I think Meredith from Wool Gathering Collective actually got one as well. But I think she said she got the army gray one, which I sort of had I gave my parents option. They said I'd like the gray one, but if the green one's available, I'll take that too. But that so works. The leather's already getting really nice and soft, so they're not cheap, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to pay for beauty, right? So that's those. I do have one other work in progress that I'll share, and this is the smokestack sock. I have not been very far, and you can see I actually had to cut the yarn. I'll tell you why in a sec. I have not made it that far. I just made it a little bit past the ribbing. I found this yarn is gorgeous. This is Tanis Fiber Arts cashmere, and it's stunning to work with. It feels really nice. It is slippery as heck. I will say that much. I had to really watch my gauge with this and holding the tension properly on it. So I had to sort of develop a new way for me, because I usually just loop around my index finger because I knit English. But I had to do sort of a double loop around the pinky and the index just to get it to hold tight enough. But then when I wound it, it was coming unwound really strangely. I think this new winder, the Knit Picks one, just wound it really bizarrely. And so it got all knotted and tangled up. So I cut the yarn, not a big deal. I'll just start in another one. It'll survive. But the pattern's really interesting. It's got sort of this interesting cabled, purled motif that's in a really super wide rib almost. Like it's a beautiful pattern. These are just on Hiya's US 2.75 millimeters. And I'm really enjoying it too. But like I said, it's interesting. It's on 3 needles. It's not on 4, which is a bit, in my experience, not that I'm very experienced as a sock knitter, I found it a little bit different. So anyway, I'm enjoying that. I will get back to that, but one thing at a time. So like that. So that's all I have in progress at the moment. But I have some acquisitions, and it wouldn't be, the holidays without acquisitions. Some of these I purchased, some were gifts. So let's talk about that. I was the just ever so lucky recipient of 2 skeins of yarn from O-Loops. And I want to make sure I get this right. This is colorway Umpqua Bear. And this is worsted 100% superwash merino, 218 yards, 100 grams. And this is, like I said, from O-Loops. And this is from Sarah and Lydia, who sent this so kindly for me. And I'm not sure what I'm going to make with this yet, but what I love about it, there's little touches of red, and there's browns and tans and creams. I want to make sure I find the right thing for this because I think this could make something super elegant. I'm thinking, like around sort of classic Burberry almost without the black and maybe a touch of black and red in this. It could make a gorgeous sort of scarf or a cowl or something. So I want to find the right thing for sure for that. It's absolutely stunning. But they also sent me in this cute little bag from Woolicary. This is a orange and lavender wool wash, and I opened it up when I received the package. And can I just tell you, this package arrived like right by the holidays. It was so nice to receive. They sent me a beautiful holiday card. Oh God, that smells so nice. Yeah, I can't wait to use that. You can always use some good wool wash, right? But that one's delicious, and I have to keep it in this little bag because otherwise I'll forget what it is and I'll think it's something else probably. So that was lovely. Thank you so much, ladies. I can't wait to. It feels amazing. The colors are gorgeous. Like I said, it's got everything from chocolate to this, like to the lightest sort of ecru color in it. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. Can't wait to try that. So thanks to you guys for that. I already talked about the Fringe Association bag, but I also wanted to talk about, my parents are so awesome. They also got me this tote from them. This fun knit and let knit. This is going to be amazing because when I'm at Vogue Knitting Live, I'm planning on using this to tote my stuff around because some of the classes I have to knit some samples to learn. There's a few things that I have to do in the classes. So again, Fringe Supply Company, amazing stuff. Super sturdy, like really good canvas. Good webbing. It's been sewn on I think it's twice it's been sewn on, but I would be surprised if they didn't double stitch that along the way because it seems really, really sturdy. So love that too. And then I also got from David's Teas from my parents. They were really generous this year. This amazing tea thermos. What's really funny is I had bought Sebastian exactly the same one, but in a white. But it's really kind of cool. It's this metallic. It almost looks like almost like an automotive paint. It won't show up on this camera for sure. But it's got let's see if I can do the top. There we go. It's got obviously a thermos lid. It's got a filter in the top. The filter comes off and it has a tea basket inside. So you put your tea inside, you put hot water in, you close it on up and use it. But what's really interesting, anyone who gets one of these, oh yeah, it's so worth it. It keeps stuff hot for hours and hours and hours. Literally to the point where Sebastian burnt his tongue yesterday on his after having had it sit with the lid off for an hour. I've made tea in this and let it sit for like 2-3 hours and it's still hot. So if you like really, really hot tea, that'll keep it hot, trust me. They're not cheap, but they're all metal, so they're pretty much indestructible and very, very worth it. They had a special on, I think, was it 2 for $50 around Christmas time? So it was totally worth it. They also gave me probably about 7 or 8 different kinds of teas to try, stuff that I wouldn't necessarily pick for myself. But to that note, I have some stuff that I may want to swap. You never know. So in the Sticks Plus Twine podcast group, we have a tea swap happening. If you want to join, just sign on up. I'm going to match everybody up. I'm closing it the 10th of January. So I'm going to match everybody up so that you can send tea to one another. You can send other stuff too if you want, but the focus on this one is going to be a tea swap. So we've got a number of people who have already signed up. Feel free to join. I know I've got some cool stuff already lined up that I'm planning on sending in whoever my partner will be. I'm going to try and do it just sort of randomly selected. Some people have asked if they could be kept in the States just to keep shipping costs down or be kept in Europe to keep shipping costs down. I'll do my best as I know if there's that sort of circumstance that's been asked for to accommodate. But I mean, unless there's like 1,000 people, it should be pretty straightforward for me to figure that stuff out for people. But if there isn't, there's maybe, if there's like 20 or 30, sure, no problem. I'd rather have people participate and not have to worry about it. You know what I mean? So what else did I get? So Sebastian bought me online from a retailer. I have a packet. I won't show you the whole packet because there's 10 of them of these. These are 50-gram balls of I don't know exactly what. It's fingering weight. I think it's bamboo. Well, it shows bamboo on the front, so I'm assuming it's bamboo. I think it's bamboo and cotton fingering weight sock yarn because it just seems like it would be the right weight for it. So it was supposed to be in different colors, but they sent him all black. So at first I was like, what am I going to do with essentially 5 pairs of socks worth of all black yarn? That's going to take forever to get through. And then I started to think creatively. I thought, well, I could use some for toes and heels in socks. This would be nice and durable. And, for most masculine colors, unless it's a brown sock, these might go really well. So I thought, well, that's a good thing. The other thing I thought about is if I'm doing textural stuff, or if I find a good pattern that is a sock tone, like a textural pattern, then that actually might be interesting. So what I found on Ravelry a set of 4 sock patterns based on the Four Musketeers, which looked really interesting. So I think that's what I'm going to do with these. But if anyone's needing a swap for a little bit of black in their Cozy Memories blanket, let me know. I'd be happy to swap some. Not too much though, because I actually want to knit these socks. But it'll give me something to do and probably help me to really cement the sock construction components in my head. So I got those 2. I thought it was lovely. It was a beautiful, beautiful gesture, and the yarn feels fantastic. So I think that's going to be fun to work with too. And last but not least, so I went to Chicago. I left on Monday. I got back yesterday. My best friend and I just went for just a little sort of couple of day getaway. She was going anyway, and I just sort of tagged along. And while I was there, I had remembered Natasha from Wool Gathering Collective talking about her favorite yarn store being Niche, which is in a suburb of Chicago. I originally had planned on going to see this one shop called Nina, but on Monday when I was there, when I wanted to go, there was a brutal freezing ice storm to the point where even walking a block, it was nearly impossible. It was getting in our eyes, and it was just not good. Even from the hotel to where we went to go to lunch at RL, which is Ralph Lauren's restaurant, it was, we couldn't do it. We took a cab. It was like 4 blocks away and we couldn't do it. So we took a cab there. Then we went to go to Uniqlo, a block and a half away. And that even was so treacherous that we said, forget it. I'm not going around. So didn't go to Nina. And they're closed on Tuesdays. So I ended up going up to Niche, which is in Downers Grove, outside of Chicago. And it's been an hour train ride or so out there. So it wasn't all that close, but the weather wasn't that great. And, but I went anyway because they are a Quince & Co. flagship store. And I had been talking with Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes about what yarn that I might want to use to knit my Rift sweater, the Jared Flood pattern. And she had just raved about how good quality Quince & Co. yarn is. So I had ordered some online to do a swatch out of to see if I liked it. And as I'm there in Chicago, I get an email saying that the colorways of the 2 that I ordered, because I wanted to test out 2 different colorways, one of them wasn't available, so they were willing to replace it with something else. So I have 2 skeins of Lark coming in different colors. But while I was there, and those are more heathered, kind of tweedy colors, while I was there at Niche, they had enough sweater quantity for a guy, and especially not a skinny guy, is a little more. So I needed actually 13 skeins of these. Probably 12 would have done it, but didn't want to play yarn chicken with this. So I picked up 13 skeins of this. This is the Frost colorway. These are smaller. These are 50 gram skeins. So it's not like you would buy, where it's 220 yards of a cascade or something that might be $10 or $12 Canadian. So there's a little more expensive, and I just, I have not all the yarns, but I have all the yarns. I love them. I had room in my suitcase, which was great. I had room in my duty-free declaration that I didn't have to pay tax on it on top of that. And the ladies at Niche were so nice to help me make sure that I got all the ones I needed. They're all the same dye lot. So I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. I can't wait to start knitting on it. I am going to wait though, because I think that there may or may not be some sweater cows coming. There may be even one coming from Sticks Plus Twine. You never know. Might be coming soon. So I'm going to hold off on casting that on. I have enough on the needles right now to keep me going for a little while. Ooh, this one looks a bit janky. That's okay. So that's coming soon. But have I lost anything? No, I haven't. Good. So speaking of knit-alongs and cals, today being the 31st of December and tomorrow being the 1st of January is the start of the Sticks Plus Twine New Year's cast-on knit-along for men's accessories. So here's the thing. You have to knit 2 men's accessories, and a pair of socks does not count as 2. That's 1. By February 14th, when it closes, there are some great prizes that we're going to be giving away. I will be casting on tomorrow. Sebastian has to work again tomorrow, so I figure it's a good time to cast on with this gorgeous Sweet Georgia. This is super wash worsted. If you go back, I think last episode or one more before, I had done the handbrake cowl, which was a pattern gifted to me. Thanks, Inez, again. And Sebastian really liked it, and he wanted one. So I picked this up just before Christmas. So I don't remember if this had been caked up yet or not. I will be casting this on for his first accessory. And then I think I'm finally going to get around to making the bobble hat. I really want one. I think they're so amazing. I have enough of the grays and blacks and creams of the Cascade 220 I used for the Spired cowl from Sort of a Knitter from his Mystery Knit Along that I could do. I'm pretty sure I have enough to do a bobble hat and sort of all tone on tones like grays and blacks and creams, and I have also the colors to do sort of the classic the grassy part with the sky part and the sheep and stuff. So those are going to be my 2. I know there's been some fun discussion in the group about some kind of, let's say, cheeky patterns that might work, and some other people are knowing sort of, oh, I know what I'm going to do for one, not another. Feel free to share along. I have opened as of this morning the chatter thread has been open for a while. The works in progress thread is now open, and the finished objects is now open. Just remembering though that the cast on has to be today or tomorrow, finished by the 14th, as close to midnight Eastern time as I can get to it. Anything that enters in afterwards, just let's be fair, right? And then there will be some prizes. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think it'll be a lot of fun. And you are welcome to double, triple, quadruple, as many times dip into any other cows that are going on as you like. Mina from Knitting Expat podcast is doing a January sock along. I hope I got that right, Mina. I'm sorry if I didn't. Where she's actually been challenged to try and knit as many socks in a month as she can. And having seen video of her knitting, my goodness, she's fast. But if you do socks as part of this one, then feel free to enter a pair of socks as part of your 2. But it'll all sort of work out along the way. Let's just keep it, fair and simple, no pressure. Let's just have fun, right? Knitting's supposed to be fun. Like competitive knitting, not so much. Winners just going to be selected by random number generation. That's why in the FOs, I'm asking, don't, if you love what somebody else has done in there, just, hit the love button as opposed to discussing, because that way it'll just make it a lot easier when I go to select the winners. So that's happening. That'll be tomorrow. I will cast that on. I'm just going to switch my notes here. So we talked about the T-swap already, so that's great if you can join that. So what other stuff? So Christmas is great. I went to my parents. They don't live that far north of me, so I dropped Sebastian off at the airport. He was going to Asia for work. So I went to my parents, had a nice visit with them, visited with my brother and my sister-in-law, so that was kind of cool. Then my best friend came over Christmas night, and we just had some wine and some laughs, and that was all good. And then I was talking about I went to Chicago. Um, and what was really nice is I mean, we've got some friends that we met in Chicago. We actually met on a cruise, but they live in Chicago, who took us up to up the Willis Tower to a club that one of them belongs to, which was awesome. We're on the 67th floor. I know it goes up way more, but the views from up there were fantastic. So we just sat and had a couple of drinks. And then later that night, I was not feeling terribly well. I thought it was just maybe I was hungry, I was stressed, I don't know. But I turned out to have a bit of a stomach bug, so it made the rest of the trip a little bit of a downer. I felt kind of bad because dinner was like I went out with my friend for dinner so she could eat, and I couldn't even sit through the rest of dinner. I was like, I just can't. I gotta go. So flying home yesterday was kind of interesting. I was kind of hoping I'd make it without being too ill, but I was fine. But what was really funny was when I was waiting for my flight back to Toronto, how often do you see men knitting in public? Not very often. So I'm sitting there knitting away. I'm working on the Gillis scarf from Stephen West. And right across from me, there's another guy working on a scarf. And I just thought, how unusual is this? This is pretty awesome. So we kind of did the whole, like, what up? It's all good, which is kind of fun. So that was neat. Vogue Knitting Live is coming up, so I'll be in New York in 2 weeks. And Jenny and I from Tiny Paper Foxes and I are hosting our own little Vogue Knitting live podcasters meetup. There is a thread in her group for RSVPing. There's also an event for RSVPing in the Sticks Plus Twine podcast group. Please let us know if you're planning on attending. I think most people who probably are able to have indicated some intention. We are working out the details on where we will be, so hopefully that will happen soon. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. I'll try not to buy another, sweaters quantity worth of yarn when I'm there, but I make no promises. Three other things I want to talk about. I wanted to say congratulations to Kemper from Junk Yarn Podcast, who is getting married. So congratulations. I hope everything goes well. That'd be amazing. Can't wait to see the pictures and everything else. So I know you've been working on your sweater, and I hope that it all works out for you. Fingers crossed. I also want to talk a little bit about goals and stuff for 2016 for knitting and that sort of stuff. I don't really have any particular goals, but I know that I want to finish a sweater because I've never actually knit a sweater before. I've got 3 sweater quantities now sitting in my stash. And I know I want to make at least a 4th and a 5th, so that's going to happen. The sweater that I make out of the Quince & Co., this will be, I think, my Rhinebeck sweater because, yeah, you heard it here. I'm going to Rhinebeck. So after seeing Jenny and Devin talk about their booking already, I got a bit nervous and panicky and went, oh, if I want to go, maybe I should register in my room now. So I did. It's about an 8-hour drive from Toronto. I've done it before. I did it this summer. I drove to Connecticut to do an architecture tour. Gosh, I've been, muddling my accents for too long. I did a tour of architectural homes of significance in the New Canaan area in Connecticut earlier this year. So I'm going to go and do Rhinebeck this year, which I can't wait. I know there's so many people already planning on going, and I'm looking forward to it. So this, out of the Quince & Co., this will be my Rhinebeck sweater. If I finish Sebastian's Chesterfield sweater, I think that one's a Julie Hoover design from Brooklyn Tweed. That will be his Rhinebeck sweater. So I've got 2 on the go. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of goals. But what I do have as an objective is that I really want to take better notes, not just in Ravelry of what am I making, all that sort of stuff, but I want to do a little bit better job of taking notes. So one of the things that I love, and I think it's so appropriate, are these little field notes notebooks. These things are fantastic. This is a pack of 3, actually. They're really, really great little memo books, and they fit perfectly, I have to say, in my little project bag. I love what they say. I'm not writing it down to remember it later. I'm writing it down to remember it now. And isn't that really so true? Once you've written it down, you actually do remember it. I used to have an online store for people. Fun fact, years and years and years ago. That's how I broke into digital marketing. I proved that I had the chops by opening my own digital shop and making some money that way and learning about advertising. Um, this is like way before Etsy and stuff like that. So I have a lot of these things left over. In fact, I have three that I want to just give away. So I'm going to say that I'm going to open a thread in Ravelry for the Field Notes giveaway. It will probably come with a little something extra along with these, but I'm going to randomly select three winners at January 10th, just because I can keep it simple, and just say three people are going to get new notebooks. You can put them in your purse, you can put them in your project bag, you can do whatever you want with them. But this way I won't feel quite so, on my own and using these to sort of keep track of my knitting and such like. Yeah, I've been watching too many memes apparently and such like. So that's pretty much it for this week. I have honestly no idea how long this has gone. So I'm feeling better than I have. The last day or so was a bit rough, but I'm feeling better today. We're going out to the movie tonight. I'm going to have a glass of champagne at midnight. Shouldn't be too hard to stay awake till then. At least I hope not, because I'm seeing Star Wars again. Oh, I'm very excited. So what I will just say for now is from the last day of 2015 to the first day of 2016, I hope for you and your family all the very best and all the best knitting and all the best yarns in the world coming your way. So I won't cheers with coffee because I don't think is that good luck or bad luck or any luck at all. If it was good luck, I would cheers you with coffee. But if it's bad luck, I don't want to risk it and jinx you on it. So happy New Year, and I'll talk to you in 2016. Bye.